It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed in. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep going. I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep going. I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
And a prompt to Friday Night Guys with Anna. Welcome to a last spare moment of Friday Night Guys. This was not planned. We didn't expect to do this, but everybody seems to be full of energy after doing Tracy's show, Game Night. Do not forget to go see that. Drop her a line. But apparently we ain't sleepy, we ain't tired, so we decided to do a Friday Night Guys. And lo and behold, look who's with us tonight is the lovely Anna Hart, Borrelia, etc. And of course, I got my brother Theus Robinson on here.
Hello, everyone.
So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this subject. I'm just going to jump into it because I kind of lied earlier today by saying there wasn't enough information. I still think there's more, so we can only just speak on what we know. But earlier today, Paul Pelosi was attacked in his home by someone with a hammer, yelling and screaming, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" So, yeah. Well, there has been more information that came out. I just want to go ahead and discuss it. I was going to wait till Sunday, but it's like, I have this feeling that it's going to be one of those stories that's just going to like fade.
Trickles out.
Yeah, it's going to fade into the ether by Sunday. Like, yeah, it happened, and let's move on. So let's go ahead and just get it out now. Just get it out of the way.
That's right. Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked around 2:30 this morning inside their home. SFPD believe this man was actually looking for Nancy Pelosi inside their home as he kept shouting, "Where is Nancy?" The house in question is the brick one to my right. An intruder broke into the home of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi through the back door of her San Francisco home. The speaker's husband, 82-year-old Paul Pelosi, was home and alerted police to the break-in just before 2:30 this morning. When officers arrived, within 3 minutes of that call, they walked in on the suspect and Mr. Pelosi.
When the officers arrived on scene, they encountered an adult male.
The speaker was in Washington, D.C. Police say the suspect, 42-year-old David DePepe, confronted the speaker's husband, Paul Pelosi, shouting, "Where is Nancy?" before striking him with a hammer.
And violently assaulted him with it.
Police tackled the suspect, taking him into custody. Both Mr. Pelosi and DePepe were taken to the hospital. Mr. Pelosi, who was struck in the head, had surgery this morning, and he's expected to recover from the attack. Police booked DePepe on attempted homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, burglary, and several other additional felonies. The motive for this attack is still unclear. However, in recent weeks, the suspect has been posting extremist views online, fixated on government censorship, and making anti-Semitic comments. Federal authorities have warned congressional leaders of the potential for extremist attacks ahead of the midterm election in 2 weeks. The FBI and the U.S. Capitol Police are both investigating this attack. We are hearing that Speaker Pelosi is en route to San Francisco right now to be with her husband.
A wise person once told me earlier today, actually. So y'all still think they're the same party? Y'all still think that? Same side of the coin?
Same bird, different wing.
Yeah. Okay.
I only have ever said that they are bankrolled by the same people. But no, they're not the same party.
Their ideology and their methods of pushing their ideology, if y'all can't see how different it is, y'all not paying. Y'all, not only are you not paying attention, you refuse to pay attention. You're just refusing to do it. Because this doesn't make any sense that y'all can look at some stuff like this and think, oh, but they're the same party. But no, their method of making money, corruption, I'll give it to you. Sure. I'll give you that much. But their ideology and how much they are willing to go to get their ideology out, forced, no. Nowhere near the same. Nowhere near the same thing. See, there's a big difference between Marjorie Taylor Greene running on stage yelling how the Democrats are taking babies and use it. It's totally different from QAnon screaming at the top of their lungs about stealing babies and using blood for facial creams and whatever it is that they're saying right now. That's different because all that is talk. That's all that is. That's words. Spoken language. These people on the other side, oh, no. They're action. And on a smaller scale, I ain't even taking away from this. But even on a smaller scale, how many attacks have we heard going on that goes on at school boards?
But Marlon, what about all the riots during the summer?
Yeah, that was covered up by the January 6th tour guide that went on.
But Marlon, there were riots all over Portland and where Seattle. There was riots, Marlon. They
It's bonfire.
they damaged things.
Hmm. There's over 100 Capitol Police that's never going to see their family again.
Yeah, they will. They got 100. So we got to make sure we're being fair. It's 120 police officers that were seriously or severely injured.
Oh,
But
sorry.
there's a total of like 3
Right.
that will never see their family again.
Right.
One
Only
had a heart
3.
attack and 2 committed suicide. But I think that's the whole count. There might be more than that.
But there's the woman that got shot.
She was a tourist.
Breaking
'Cause
through
who doesn't
windows and
tour with bear spray and riot gear and metal posts and stun guns and zip ties?
And the noose. Don't forget the noose.
That's just vacation.
And it had nothing to do with Trump at all. Nothing. Sure, they took down the American flag and raised the Trump flag. I get how you would think that,
You might think that's
but
political.
it was on their own accord. By the way, if any of you morons come in here and go, "Oh my goodness, see, this is why you cut this thing up," you're the problem.
Oh, they don't care if they're the problem as long as they're on the winning side. You know, it's like cut the crap with people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I don't know. Hey, Parker, welcome
Parker.
back. Thank you.
Hey,
Hey,
Tracy.
Hi,
Tracy.
Tracy.
We don't know enough about this
Hello,
person
Mickey.
that hey, Mickey, that attacked this elderly man.
That almost comes out as a nasty word, but yeah, sure.
Huh?
Finger.
Oh,
Friday night
fine.
gun.
Got it.
Mm.
So it's like, well, here's what I anticipate we're gonna hear. We're gonna hear that this person is mentally ill, and then the Republicans are going to say that this is a reflection of mental illness, not a reflection of political discourse, stoking violence, or terrorism. Because really, if this was motivated, which I suspect it is, if they're saying he was calling for his wife, then this is politically motivated, which makes it a terrorist act. But the right is going to shrug it off and say, you can't hold us accountable for every individual action that every individual takes. This person's already mentally unstable. Oh, and you notice he didn't use a gun. So, hey, lefties, what do you say about that? Since you think guns are so bad, are we going to rule out hammers now? And
I'm sorry, things to cut you off. They already did that. You don't remember the hammers kill more people in the United States than guns?
Which isn't even true. But
not even close. Not even close.
They're going to go there. I'm sure that their consultants are already working with them to make sure that they're polished in their responses. But you're going to be like, well, I guess so much for if we outlaw hammers, maybe we'll stop this too. And the Democrats are going to be stuck in a corner because they don't want to blame mental illness either. And any efforts to address helping people with their mental health, right, has been blocked. And we're going to find ourselves right back where we were. And at the end of the day, an 82-year-old man. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Pelosi's. I think they're incredibly corrupt. Incredibly corrupt. Both of them. He is a stock trader, stockbroker, whatever you call him, venture capitalist who has made money off of insider trading by way of his wife. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
feeding him the info.
Huh?
I said, did you see the home that they have in San Francisco?
when,
That
in
was
San Francisco, right? Because
Mhm.
here in Georgia, that's not that impressive. But to have that in
Gotcha.
San
Yep.
Francisco,
Mhm.
so yeah, it's just
What's wrong with Washington, Pelosi? What's wrong with Washington?
so it's gonna be a big
It's
smoke
beautiful up
screen, and
here.
it's gonna, because I mean we've had now from people who are on the right, they've now shot Geffy Gil Gap, what I'm talking about, Arizona, shot her in the face.
Gabrielle Giffords.
Thank you. Shot the other guy at the baseball field. There was a congressman who got shot at playing Congress baseball. This is some years
I
back.
don't remember that one.
We had the guy who was rolling around in the freaky white van with all the political paraphernalia around it and wanted to kill Hillary.
Yeah.
I don't know how many mass shooters who put out their little weird manifestos. Yeah, the guy who went on the killing spree here in Atlanta, murdered a bunch of people at massage parlors because, he was sexually frustrated or whatever. You got all these things coming from the right. They're all coming from the right. But then they say, because the media doesn't care, they just want clicks and they just want attention and they want ad revenue. They will always say both sides, even though the two sides are not remotely equal. Like, you can't find the terrorist attacks on the left. You just simply can't. And when you do have the riots that they love to bring up, the only reason they existed is because someone was murdered.
Mhm.
Like, if you stop the killing, you didn't get a riot. This isn't hard.
and the funny fact about it, since y'all want to keep bringing up the protest, which turned into a riot, there was a killing during the protest. Funny how you never actually tell everybody who the killer was.
You talking about the boy with the whatever?
No.
They made into a hero.
The deputy,
Not
the
Kyle.
deputy that got killed.
Oh, there's a deputy got killed.
Come to find out, it was the Boogaloo Boys that did it.
Right.
And so y'all will go as far as to say there's a riot. You will find that one target that was on fire, and you will play it 5, 6, 7, 8 times to try to fool
from whatever angle they can play it.
Yeah.
Play it 5, 6 times to show that it happens every night. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many examples of attacks and terrible things from the conservative side of the political spectrum. And you're not hearing about militias on the left. You're not. The plot to kidnap a sitting governor, that didn't come from the left.
The arson in Minnesota, that was the Boogaloo Boys.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, we know we're going to get the both sides isms from the media, and we know we're going to get the talking heads who are going to twist themselves into knots to say that the discourse is just out of hand on both sides.
What about ism?
And you're going to get the, this is Biden's America, and something somehow guaranteed it's going to go back to the gun thing. It's not even going to be another gun was used. It's going to be, see, no gun was used. And it's like so predictable.
And it kills me because did we not have yet another school shooting?
Yeah, we did.
In St. Louis. Did you notice that got very little news?
Wasn't there like 2 people who got shot?
2 people that died.
2.
Several people got hurt. Several people got injured.
Really?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As I'm guilty, I didn't pay attention to it either. It's become so common.
I'll show it. I'll show the video Sunday. I'm not going to try to look for it today, but the guy literally went down the list of the people who were either killed or injured. I mean, I was actually shocked that he did it, but he did it. But I'll bring that up Sunday. But I digress. There is no fundamental way of you saying, what about ism? Look this way. What about, but there is no fundamental way that you could actually say that without purposely trying to make people take their eye off of the ball. Like, this is what's going on right here, right now.
So let's go at it, man. What is the ball?
The ball is you have a side of government who are purposely going out of their way to force their agenda on the American people, whether right or wrong, and they are willing and capable, apparently, to use force to get this done. On the other, not even on the other end, I'm still talking about that side. On the way of doing that, to gaslight you into thinking, A, no, it's the other side that's doing it. B, there's a reason why we're doing it is to save America. Or C, no, that didn't happen. That's all.
But Marlon, inflation. See, you're worried about our very system of governance and about our ability to meet our obligations as a nation, both militarily and financially, and about keeping our citizens safe and free. But inflation, Marlon, it costs more for me to go and get gas than it did 2 years ago during a COVID pandemic where no one was driving and so forth, and that meant demand was low. But my gas prices are higher, Marlon. And when I want to go buy bread, it's costing me $2.50. It used to be $1.25. That's 100% increase, Marlon. But you want me to worry about terrorism?
For you, I have an answer. I have the solution. I have the solution. I have the solution to make your paycheck bigger.
Listening.
Bigger.
Go for it.
Because they are going to cut Medicaid and Medicare, so you will have more coming to your check. Social Security, no, we ain't got to worry about that no more. We're going to take care of that, so we ain't got to take no more Social Security out of your paycheck. We ain't got to take Medicaid out of your paycheck.
You're going to get rid of Medicare and FICA, so I get more of my check? So each of my paychecks will be $75 higher?
Yep.
Something like that.
Wow. But what happens when, because see, I'm at my working age and I'm raising
inflation.
Hear me. I'm at my working age and I'm trying to raise my family.
Let's go, Brandon.
But what happens? No, but if you cut because if you cut Medicare, then my mother, as she gets older, has to come live with me because there's no help for her.
Biden's America. But what about the border?
Yeah, gotta watch out for those legal people who filed for asylum and were granted a hearing. They're taking over the country. So let's go.
Mickey. Look, Mickey.
There she go with facts again. And
I understand what you're saying, that inflation is the entire world is hit with inflation. Is it really?
It really is.
Actually, it is, yeah.
Mhm.
Or could we just sit and just discover when did the entire world was hit with inflation?
Marlon, I got the answer.
Biden was elected into office, inflation hit the world.
What happened was Biden put all that inflation in the air, and the rest of the world had that bad inflation in the air. We had the good inflation, and then our good inflation went over there, and their bad inflation came over here, and I got a badge
like the oxygen.
Yeah.
But vote for me
because
I'm barely literate, but I'm on the Republican side. So
I'm gonna stop playing this game because I refuse to go to sleep stupid. So that's the point. The point is these are their arguments. These are their same arguments. How do we know it's their same arguments? Nothing has changed.
Because it works.
This is the same argument they've always used. That's the point. They have, and I know I keep using this analogy for the longest time, but it is the same analogy. They have laminated cards for every situation. Now, I'm going to change one little thing on my side, Thea, not yours. I'm going to change one little thing that you said. They're going to come out because they love to come out with hopes and prayers when, you know, little kids get gunned down in school. So I guarantee you they're going to come out with, I hope Nancy Pelosi's husband is okay. You know, we're praying for the Nancy
prayers
Pelosi
are with
family.
them and the family.
Yeah, prayers are with them and blah, blah, blah. But, because I already know Margie Taylor Greene. Now you got to understand why the American people say he was just so frustrated with Nancy Pelosi, and Nancy Pelosi. God, I didn't know how irritating her voice was until you.
Oh, her voice is incredibly irritating.
Good gracious, that's awful.
That, you know.
But she's already got that set up. She's already got the Nancy Pelosi without saying it. But let's go ahead and just cut to the chase, just like what Thea said. Let's just go ahead and cut through the chase. She deserved it.
But
that's all. No matter what her speech is, no matter what the beginning of it, the middle of it is, the end result is, without saying it, yeah, but she deserved it.
And that's what's going to happen. Or they'll do what they always do, and they'll disown it. Like, that's the thing about, and I blame the entire conservative movement. I don't care where you sit on the spectrum. They have this tendency where they think of humanity as like machines coming through the American system. And if they are male, cisgendered, married men, I said male earlier, but anyway, then that's the way the system is supposed to design you. And then an alternate machine creation would be the traditional woman. Anything outside of that, there's a flaw in the machine. Somebody's playing with the machine. And then whenever one of their perfect creations goes off and does something horrendous that they can't find a way to make an excuse for, they treat them like a reject. Like, oop, nope, that's not us. That one just had bad programming, right? Lone wolf, right? Not, this is a person who's been consuming our media and consuming our hate and receiving the downloads constantly to be afraid and angry. And then you just have to wait for someone who is afraid, angry, desperate, and hopeless. And they will go and act on these things because a lot of times they're looking to attach themselves to something bigger than themselves. And they're willing to die for it. They're willing to commit violence for it because they need a purpose. And these people know that these people are out there. And they just keep riling them up until a few of them fall off the truck and go and do these things. And then they disown them.
You got to understand that the whole mentality / game of Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and their rhetoric. They want you to be the fool. They're not going to do it. You can forget it. Go the next time you see somebody walking down the street with a mask on, go snatch it off their face. And they're not going to do it. Tucker's already approved that. I got a daughter. I got my daughter here. So Tucker already approved. He ain't that. He ain't from that life. He not from that. But he know if you talk that stuff over and over and over and over and over again. Let me just use this. You remember the 70s, the 80s, and 70s, 80s rock and roll music, heavy metal music, satanic music.
Play the music backwards and it's the devil talking to you.
Yeah. And then gangster rap came out. Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, don't put us in that.
No. This is my analogy. The analogy was their whole mentality is if you listen to that stuff long enough, you'll start emulating it. So that's why we want you to stop listening to this stuff. If you listen to it long enough, you start emulating it. Yeah, to the point, y'all literally actually played the music backwards. Oh, I don't even know, won't even imagine how many albums y'all tore up doing that. But knock yourself out. The point of the matter is you listen to it and you listen to it and you listen to it and you listen to it. These are the fears of the parents. If my kids listen to it, soon enough they'll start doing it and start doing it. What's the difference now with news media? If you're listening to it and listening to it and listening to it and listening to it day in, day out, because remember, media is 24/7, all day long. And
here's the thing, Marlon,
to that, and you want to defend this free nation where technically they're trying to take your freedom away, but let's go with that flow. The free nation of America is in danger, and you, not me, because I'm a millionaire and I've been a millionaire all my life. I'm just telling you because you have nothing to lose other than your real freedom. You need to go do something about it. It's the same thing. If you hear this stuff over and over and over and over again, and COVID was a pure catalyst for it, because you're talking about a group of people who, and I'll be honest with you, it may not have been all there before the COVID.
But see, we got to stop.
Happened, but did you shut them off from the world?
But I'm just saying, we have to, just because how it's being weaponized, we got to stop using mental health in any of these discussions, because until the person has been diagnosed by a professional through a process, we can't just give them a mental health diagnosis. It's not fair to all the people who are literally dealing with real mental health issues. Now, the people may be, but until they've actually been diagnosed by a clinician or a professional, I refuse to give it to them. I just refuse. It's kind of like if a cop says that the guy had a gun. I don't believe you, Mr. Officer. I don't believe nothing you say. You got to prove it the same way that you would make another person prove it. And we keep giving out this pass, which creates an easy way to avoid the issues. Like, why are people desperate? Why are people frustrated? Why are people feeling hopeless? What are things we can do to reduce those things? It's not that it will eliminate the outcomes, but we can at least reduce the outcomes. We say mental health is an issue, but we're not able to get anything passed to put money into the system. In the 80s, we closed down all the asylums, which is a good reason, because they were abusing these people because they didn't have the right oversight.
Mm-hmm.
right? The problem wasn't the asylum. The problem was the oversight. The problem was that you were treating them as though they were not people, right? So fix what's actually wrong. But instead, we basically kind of goes back to the machine analogy. We basically decide who is programmed properly and who is not. And then if you're not, we just kind of, whatever happens to you, happens to you. Runaways, whatever happens, happens. Migrants who come into the system and they get sucked into the sex trade. Whatever happens, happens. How many children are disappearing constantly all around the country? Whatever happens, happens. Like, let's just focus on that nice, good part. Let's just focus on the Cleaver story. And we'll deal with the Dahmer story when it happens, when we catch it. We can do so much better. We really can. But you got to decide to do it.
It's not even the fact that everybody wants to throw the whole mental health thing out there. It is a serious issue.
But it's a convenient.
What I have a problem when people throw that out is, but you don't do anything about it. It's like gun control. You can sit there and say whatever you want to, but again, I'll go back to it again. The guy that shot up the school in Texas, he had mental health. He had a mental health issue. So do you think any type of way that $300 million that you just happened to cut out of the budget that was supposed to go to mental health may have actually helped that situation?
But see, that's the problem right there. In my opinion, going after mental health to reduce crime is a huge, huge issue, because one, you're stigmatizing those with mental health issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are not even the leading cause of crime. Okay. So you're stigmatizing them, making them others, which pushes them further into the shadows. That's the first thing. Then you're not even putting the supports in place that if they start to have issues, it won't be the person having issues in most cases that seeks the help. It'll be their family and friends who help get them to the help. Because if you're dealing with it, unless you catch it early, you'll be so far in it, you don't even recognize that you're in it. Right? So people have to have systems in place that come to them in love. Right? Now, I'm not the one who I'm not really on that tip where they talk about how, drug dependency is a mental illness. I'm not there with you guys yet, but I do believe that everybody's a human being. And I do believe that we should try to help. And I do believe that everybody is not going to want help, and you can't force them to get help. And if they refuse to get help and they do something that is against the social norms, then they need to be punished for whatever they did. Right? But once you do that, they never lose their humanity. And I think that's a straw that ties everything together for me. Wherever you are in your life, you are a person. So if you are a drug addict and you are on the streets, because that's not the same thing. So offer them help. Make help available. It should be robustly funded by the country. Invest in your people, right? You invest in healthcare, you invest in mental health care, you invest in education, you invest in civil and national defense. You invest, right? And this is a weird tangent. I'm gonna do this on one of my shows here shortly. But police officers, I think most of y'all know how I feel about the police. But if you want to improve part of that situation, these police officers should not be working 60, 70 hours a week. These police officers should not be making like 30s, like in the 30s. It's just like you should improve their training, improve the standards to be a police officer, improve their opportunities to grow and have other pathways, right? So if you come in as a police officer, you might go and become a social worker within the law enforcement community, or you might go on any number of pathways, because the police is nothing but a domestic military. So our military, you can do all types of things in the military. You don't have to just run around pointing a gun shooting. That same thing can and should exist on the police side. And then for our police officers who are constantly doing this, who are constantly in the field, this is me. I think that every beat cop and detective should be required to take 2 weeks off paid vacation every year. And I think that they should also have a very robust vacation plan, so that only they do the 2 weeks off, because here's the thing about 2 weeks. It's kind of like, I get this from banking, y'all. In banking, we had to take 2 weeks off. And the reason we had to do that is because if we were doing something shady, removing us from the system in 2 weeks' time with nobody managing it, stuff starts showing up, right? So this is how you catch some of the corruption that happens in there. Make sure their retirement is good. All these things we should be doing better for our police officers. At the same time, we raise the bar and do all these different things. And this is the same thing that translates across the board. I don't care where you're touching it. You talk about your politicians. I say no more than 12 years. I don't give a damn what your job is. 12 years. That's what you got, right? What's that? 6 terms as a House, 2 as a senator. If you couldn't get it done in 12 years, time to hang it up. You're not good at this. But anyway, I'm sorry. I was all over the place.
And then I'm gonna still add into that, like I've always said, y'all should not be trading stock. I'm sorry. Or owning businesses or any of that thing. I'm sorry, you shouldn't. Even if you ain't insider trading and everything else, let's just be realistic. How hard could it possibly be for you to do so? So yeah.
Well, see, if you do the term limits and you make insider trading illegal for them, because right now they just got like a $200 fine. That's nothing. Or is it, no, $2,000. I think it's a $2,000 fine. That's nothing. We're paying them $100 and something thousand a year. What do they care about $2,000?
No, we're
right?
paying $1 million a year, but I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
No, I mean their annual salary is like $120, right? So if you make it illegal to receive any gifts or consideration outside of your salary in excess of, say, $500, make that a felony. You will now cut out a lot of people who are going into politics because they'll be like, I can't make enough money that way. Yeah. Also, make them do a 5-year non-compete after they finish office. So you can't go immediately from being a congressman to being a lobbyist. Make them have to cool off. We do it in banking. We do it in insurance. We do it in all kinds of industries, right? Do that. Make sure they can't stay in office more than 12 years. Like I said, now, if you that magical a politician that you can do 12 as a House of Representatives and then do a 12 as a senator, congratulations. You just did 24 years. You were amazing. But most people won't be able to do that. You start closing some of the doors so that what will happen is your best and your brightest, wherever they may come from different walks of earth, they come in, they can't do anything illegal because they don't have enough time to build the relationships, right? And they can't get too much out of it because it's all a felony. So they do their time and they go back to private industry. Right now, what we have in a situation is you could be making $150,000 a year in your private industry. Give that up. Oh, I'm better. $250,000 a year in your private business. And then you go to Congress and make 120? Come on. You know they up to something.
There is
and then they
nobody.
come out a millionaire.
You took my joy. You took my joy. And I was literally was going to say, you could not explain to me in a million years 150, 250, 300 a year. You gave that up to go to Congress. You a millionaire within 3 years of
All your debt gone. All
your
of
debt.
it.
You a millionaire by 3 years. You're done. You. Hey, honey, it was nice for us to be in this 3-bedroom home, but we need to expand. Let's go get this 12-bedroom home.
And then while you're there, you get your nephew a job, you get your cousin a job, you know, you get your daughter is now going to go work for one of the companies that was lobbying for you. See, all the money that moves is not cash. See what I'm saying? So that's why they have to crack down on anything you get of value has to be reported. And you can't have anything more than pick a number. You know, like, and where I came from, it was $10. You couldn't get nothing worth more than $10. So do something like that. But in order to do those things, guess who has the right to law to make that happen? So they're not going to write laws to curb their own abuses. It would completely disrupt Washington. Nancy Pelosi couldn't be as rich as she is. She's just a figurehead. There's so many of them, all the rest of them, really. Why is Bernie Sanders still a senator? Yeah, I said Bernie Sanders. Why is he still a senator after all these years? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason these people get in there and they stay. There's a guy running for re-election right now who might win. He's 89 years old, running for a re-election as a senator. So obviously his retirement plan is to die at work. Now, that's the voters' fault.
Family taken care of.
His family well taken care of.
Yep.
But that's the voters' fault. And this is when we circle back, and we got to look at us. We got to look at us here, right? We fell asleep at the switch, and I'm talking Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, lefty, righty. Now, this is where the Trumpists got the game right. They looking at it and say everybody crooked. So they're like, everybody's crooked, so I might as well work with the crooked that works for me. That's what the Trump people are doing. They know Trump is a criminal. They know Trump is a liar. That's why they don't care when you say that stuff. But he works for them. So leave him alone. That's how they view it. So everybody's crooked. But when it comes to a senator, a governor, those are the two positions that's popular vote. Like, you don't have to keep a corrupt senator. The only reason we keep them is because we are too lazy to go and know who's on the ballot. We have no clue who's on the ballot unless you're one of the 12 people whose name we know. 100 senators, and I bet nobody can name more than 12.
And they're the bad ones. I guarantee you would not be able to name them unless they was in the news over and over and over and over again. And by the way, Diaz is being nice. He really is. I can give you a name, and I guarantee you, and I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm trying to reinforce that this is things that you need to know. I can give you a name, and I guarantee you couldn't tell them if they was in the House or the Senate. You just know them by name. I just guarantee it. I can sit there and go Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz. Which one is in the Senate?
Well, I know the answer.
I know the answer.
I'm in Georgia.
But
I'm with you.
But
I'm with you, man.
Literally, you could not tell, are they in the House or the Senate?
Yeah. I say Chuck Grassley, you don't know where the hell he is at. You don't know what state that is, but you do know you heard that name.
Lou
You know you
Gossett.
heard the name. So that's how you say it's in office. Chuck Schumer. What the hell he done did?
Chuck
What
Schumer.
you doing, bro?
Chuck,
What you doing?
No, I even make it. Chuck Schumer. What state he from?
Yeah.
He's from New York.
Nancy Pelosi.
Hey, did y'all see the Saturday Night Live
California.
where they did the Chuck Schumer and the Nancy Pelosi joint? It was hilarious. I'm
Well-
sorry. I laughed. I probably shouldn't have.
Who you from?
Nigga, I know everybody here.
Yeah.
I got that point. But I'm just
Except
saying.
the Chuck Grassley one. I'm still going.
See, but that's what I mean.
Right, but you know that name, right?
Yeah, I did.
Tim Scott.
Yeah, that's your boy.
Mhm.
Ain't nowhere near my boy.
That's
No,
your boy.
mm-mm.
If I got to own crazy ass Herschel, you got to own Timmy. Timmy.
I'm in South Carolina. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Timmy.
Tim in South Carolina. Hey. Look, I got
Hey,
little
North
niggas-
Carolina was in the news here recently. Now
I got little
y'all got a crazy one too.
Go close to me in South Carolina, so no, I'm good.
I'm about to say North Carolina got some mess going on too right now.
No, my boy got fired though. Crenshaw.
I'm looking right now. Who is this? Sherry Beasley. Sherry Beasley versus Ted Budd. If that ain't the Ted Budd, if
Beasley
that ain't
versus
the
Bud.
countryest name, Ted Budd.
This is about as close as you could possibly get to one just slightly less corrupt than the other one. Those two people. And Sherry Beasley. Now, Ted Budd is like straight up lying little sack of whatever. Because I saw one of his commercials where he came on and go, and they're going to get rid of all your college debt as long as you make over $70,000 a year.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even care how bold-faced the lie is because the media as a whole won't directly challenge them, right? You'll get someone like a Mehdi Hassan who will tear you from limb to limb with facts and details.
Washington.
But he's on MSNBC. So full half of the spectrum ain't gonna pay attention to him anyway, no matter how accurate his statement is. Well, yeah, you know that's unfortunately
don't believe a word that comes out.
I mean, that ain't what Tracy ain't. I mean, Tracy know all this stuff, but that's the view that we end up getting, and it's like at first I get really frustrated because sometimes I get super frustrated.
Hold on for 1 second. We just found out that Tracy can't do a certain thing, and then she told us what she can do, and oh my God, y'all have to watch the show, cause me and Theas ain't never laughed that hard on a show in our whole life. That was just, that was priceless. I'm sorry, Theas. Theas, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's like it's hard.
Washington State, Nikki.
It's hard.
Sorry, yeah, Washington State.
To track the truth. Like it's so hard that it's actually almost unfair to get upset with people anymore. Because social media is an echo. So it's just going to keep feeding you whatever, right? You clicked on the wrong 3 types of posts in a day, and now your algorithm is screwed for the next week, right? Most people do not pay attention to politics because it's so toxic. So they have zero idea what's going on. That frustrates me because there's people who are very close to me who are just like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway, but they don't pay any attention to it. None. And then election day comes around and they're just like, well, who do I vote for? And they legitimately don't know. They don't know how bad Herschel is. They don't know that you're literally putting a guy like Herschel Walker, who has not raised his children, violates almost every tenet of the Bible, has cheated on multiple women, has pushed multiple women to have abortions and then paid for it and then said, I'm against it.
Abusive.
Right? Abusive. You have all of these things on one guy, and then the other guy allegedly ran over his ex-wife's foot. And she never got hurt because it never happened. But he's a minister. He's got a squeaky clean record. And he can actually show you policy things that he's worked on to try to help people who don't even vote for him. But for some reason, these jokers are neck and neck because red versus blue. And I don't care where you go in the country, the polls always tighten in the end because red versus blue. And then you wonder, why is it like this? Why is it like this? And I'm like, if you really slow down and look at it, man, just look at it. The Republican Party is like 95% white. Like 95%. The Democratic Party is a true rainbow of the population, right? It's different colors, different religions, different economics, different, everything you could look for that's the tapestry of America exists over on the Democratic Party. But we're not all Democrats because we actually care about Democrats. We're Democrats because we can't be Republicans. So that's why we're so dysfunctional. But the polls always tighten because you have, I'm just going to say roughly 70% of white America are Republicans. About 30% are Democrats or independents. And then you got the vast majority of every other group. That still breaks out almost 50-50 when you run all the numbers together. So until we fix this system that has an electoral college that allows for you to tweak it here and there, we have the gerrymandering existing that allows you to tweak it here and there. You got the Supreme Court that has eroded every protection from gerrymandering to voting rights. This is what we have. So I think right now what we have to do is stop making people feel bad for not voting and get more engaged earlier on showing them why they themselves might want to vote. And we've done a terrible job of that. I've done a terrible job of that.
I think what we need to do on every show is to say, get out and vote. Here is my issue with people who don't vote. There was a record turnout not a record, it was high turnout for Trump Biden. And it was a high turnout because history have shown when there's a high turnout is mostly for the Democrats. It is mostly for the Democrats because they're afraid of the BS that goes on with what the Republicans did, try to do, or would do if they won the election. Here's what the deal is. The Republicans know that. And they know this because what they're going to do, and I'm going to tell you off the bat, if they win the House and or the Senate or in the governorship and everything else, I promise you they're going to make it so it don't matter if you come out because you're tired of their bullshit. They're going to make it hard for you to vote. They're going to make it extremely hard for you to vote.
Well, I'm going to do you one better, Marlon, and I agree with all of that. The game is serious. It's very serious, and it's been serious. And I know people are tired of hearing this is the most important election of our lifetime. They're tired of hearing it. But that doesn't make it not true. If you don't fix something, it only gets worse with time. So it was the most important one last year. And because you didn't fix the problem, it's going to be the most important one this year and next year and the year after that. So just because you're tired of hearing it, that doesn't make it untrue. It just means that you need to try harder. But instead, what people receive is one more scare tactic. So I'm going to put it like this. I don't know quite how to do it because I'm boring. So a lot of people don't hear what I say anyway. But tell me to vote the same way that I would challenge you to tell me to become a Christian or to become a Muslim. Tell me,
or vegan,
or anything that you feel.
Oh, no, Anna, we talked about that earlier today. Remember, people
Yes.
will go out of their way to try to convert you to their way of life.
But
Christianity.
That's not where I'm
Vegan.
headed, though. It's not where I'm headed.
Good.
What I'm saying is, whatever it is that you're saying I need to do, because people who are always beating the drum about vote, 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 vote. See, here's the problem with that. And I'm going to go back to my real point in just a second. But the problem with always doing this vote, 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 vote shit is that you're not being honest with people. See, you're talking to people, not talking about you, Marlon or Anna, but you're talking to people like they're stupid. Like, you don't vote, so you need to go vote. Like, that's going to solve anything. And they know better because people know. They know about gerrymandering. They know about the disenfranchisement. They know about the corruption in the Senate. They know about the corruption that surrounds the president. They know about the international affairs. These people are not stupid. They're turned off. That's what they are. So if only thing you tell them is vote, 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 like that's supposed to solve something, a cat like me would be like, that ain't the whole game. And either you don't know it, which is why I'm not going to listen to you, or you do know it and you're not telling me. And that's why I'm not going to listen to you. So I would say, going back to my original point, tell me to vote like you would tell me to join your religion, except you can't use fear.
Gonna be a little harder.
It is harder, but that's how you truly convert someone. Tell me what I can get from this. Tell me how I can get a tangible return from this. Tell me how doing this thing you say go vote will actually help my child not be railroaded into the juvenile detention system. Tell me how this going to vote will make sure I can get an alderman that represents my views, that can go and make sure that my neighborhood isn't slowly turned into commercial just because I don't have enough money to fight back against it. See what I'm saying? Give me something that I can work towards that actually does something for me. Telling me that Trump is evil does nothing for me. All of them evil. You know what I'm saying? All of them crooked. Tell me what you can give me. And see, Republicans are really good. They lie to you, but they're good at it. They'll tell you, I'm going to give you lower taxes. That hits you in your heart. That hits you in your feels. They don't tell you, like Marlon pointed out, we'll reduce your taxes, but now your grandma can't go to assisted living. She got to come live with you. I'm going to cut your taxes, but now there's not going to be enough money to cut the grass in the medians and trim the trees back so they're not knocking on your electrical wires and making sure your potholes are cleared up. I'm not going to tell you that part. I'm just going to tell you that you get to keep more money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to reduce inflation, but I got no plan on how to reduce inflation because reality is my policies is what helped create the inflation in the first place. We got to stop treating people like they're dumb. And I don't think that the parties are not ready to do that. The closest people I've heard come close to that has been the libertarians, and they're full of shit. But they tell more truth than the other two parties. They'll just, sell you down the river faster, but they're going to tell you the truth as they do it.
And I wanted to address this. After not delivering, they'll tell us we have to vote hard. What the living hell is living harder? I mean, vote harder. What is vote harder?
It
They
means
just mean-
we only gave them a split Senate this time. We
Right.
really would like a full Senate.
If you gave me, you gave
Give
me
me more.
50. You gave me 50 plus 1. So we got 51. But just imagine what we could do at 53.
So
Right?
how do
Mhm.
I, as a citizen, vote harder?
You show up when you haven't been. See,
So-
that's where I was
so
saying
you
it's
want
like
me
it's a
to- So you want me to vote? Not vote harder. You want me to vote because if I vote, I vote. My vote, one vote goes. There is no such thing as vote harder. Like you want me to punch the screen a little harder than I normally did for the Democrats. That doesn't even make sense when people say that. Vote
That's-
harder. No, you
That's
want me
the
to vote.
disingenuous.
Sure.
That's the disingenuous messaging that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that on one level, you absolutely have to give that message. Okay. Because everybody, and I know it is going to hurt some people's feelings, but those probably aren't the ones paying attention to this broadcast. Some people are not capable of processing strategy and planning. They're just not. That's not where they are. So for those people, get out and vote is the message. It's the milk, right? Everybody get out and vote. Get your mama, get your brother, get your cousin, get your aunt, get your uncle. Everybody got to vote. Go vote. Everybody vote. We're going to overwhelm the system. We're going to overwhelm the system.
Bring it
Everybody
from-
go out and vote.
Yeah.
Right? That is a message everybody can take in and consume.
Hmm.
The next level, though, we got to go to the bread. All right. If you want to make sure that you have some control over your school systems and things like that, we got to make sure that you're going to the town halls. You got to go make sure you're going to the city council meetings, going to the school board meetings, get to know some of your politicians, volunteer, make phone calls, right? That's next level. But see, everybody wasn't going to do that, right? And then you get to the meat. Now the meat start to look at, well, how do you make sure you're involved at the planning level of who even gets to go up for these positions? How do you make sure that you're actually being an organizer where you're actually pulling blocks of votes in, right? So there's all these levels happening. But at the baseline, you have to get out the message. Just please, just go vote. Like, I know you're frustrated.
I was so impressed to actually, funny that I picked up the phone because I rarely do. I just happened to be waiting for a doctor's office to call. So, and somebody really patient asked me, have you gotten your voting pamphlet and all that yet? Do you know who you're voting for? Do you need any help? Do you need any descriptions? Do you need any help on any one of the all down ballot? I was so surprised. I'd never heard of this program before, and I had to, who are you? But it's a Washington State program, and I can only hope that more states would actually start to do that. If we have people that do know who is on the ballot, because that's our main problem. We look and we see a bunch of names we don't know. We maybe go, okay, but they're a Republican or they're a Democrat. A lot of people do the party lines.
Well, right now, definitely.
Absolutely.
You can't get me to vote for a Republican for nothing right now. Nothing.
No, me neither.
You know what I'm saying? Because even if you are sane, You've aligned yourself with an insane party. So
Yes.
that means you a little touched too, because you're willing to continue to ride with them. But
But that's the thing, is a lot of people don't care. They know, they see all the corruption, all the just the bad stuff going on. They don't care. As long as they get to maybe have a little bit lower taxes or whatever.
They blame the other people for their issues.
Mhm.
All right, we gotta get on out of here. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anna, with your whole thought.
Sorry, just that when I want to talk politics with my neighbors, which I have a good amount of Republican neighbors, I'll ask, what are the issues that are important to you? I'll take identity completely out of it. And the people in my neighborhood know that, you know, the left is not so simple, and I know that the right is not so simple. You know, I have neighbors who have said, I can't call myself Republican anymore because I can't align with that, but I can't align with the Democrats either.
and when they go vote, exactly.
Good question.
I know what they're gonna do. We all have,
I know what they're gonna do.
and I'm not saying that as it is a judgment, but it's a reasonable judgment, right? I mean,
Yes.
like they reject the worst of their party, just as I reject the worst of the Democratic Party. Now, they're not equal in scope or intensity, but you have it's like a dual choice. I mean, it's not like you got a bunch of variation here, right? So
I showed a video last week where the lady was doing a parody, of course. But the whole premise of it is a got you question. We should go search the Democrats' office and see what we can find. And the lady went, do it. And if they broke the law, they should be prosecuted like everybody else. See, that's the deal.
yeah, with the exception of your most diehard Democrats, your liberals and progressives, not your Democrats, but your liberals and your progressives who would be independent if we had an independent option. We lock them up too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You broke the law.
Prove
And
it.
you
Lock them
think,
up.
and you think, you constantly keep thinking that, at least on the Democratic side of the aisle, you keep thinking that we're treating the Democrats like you treated Trump, like you treated everybody, Cruz, those people. We're not putting these people on a pedestal. Why? Because we know beyond a shadow of a doubt the pedestal can tip over and crush us. We ain't that stupid. We ain't gonna do that.
But see,
If you did something wrong, you need to pay the price of it. Period. Because whatever you did wasn't benefiting the American people, it was benefiting you if it broke the law. Because obviously we all know you're gonna make the laws in a sense that I didn't break the law and you benefit from it. So
now you look at, if you undermine the law itself, you don't even have to worry about that standard anymore.
you don't go to bed. Nobody keeping you up. I know on Facebook from an area that called itself progressive. I did last a week. All blue baggers. Don't dare criticize any Democrats. No.
Yeah, and I do still take exception with the whole blue MAGA thing. I get what you're saying, Mickey, because I dropped out of at least 2 Democratic groups, right? Because if you don't toe the line, them boys come at you like you just evil, right? It's ridiculous. So from that point of view, I do get where people are coming up with blue MAGA. I just don't like the term because it equates them. And there's no one on the left, no sizable group, because there's outliers everywhere. There's no real constituency on the left that would cover for Biden doing what Trump did. It's just not.
I don't see no. I really don't see
the party would not do it. It just wouldn't, right? As much as they shelter criminals and corrupt people like Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and them for being corrupt, let them try to take over the government
by any means necessary.
Man, them folks be like, yo, you can have them, come get them. Right? So that's why I don't like the blue MAGA thing, because they're not equivalent, right?
That blue MAGA thing is to me, my opinion.
It's like
their blue MAGA thing is the equivalent of Black Lives Matter 2.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter and White Lives Matter is a response thing. It's not an actual thing. Yeah.
Anyway, we got to get out of here. We over an hour. So I don't know if see, that's how tired I am. I forgot.
So in summary, old man gets beat with hammer after his home is broken into.
Yeah, that was.
And please go vote. Is that everything?
Yeah, that pretty much covers it. So Parker is still here. I actually got a video for Parker and Anna.
I like his pad level, James. Open field runner. Yeah. Hey, look at him go. The 20. Wes, he might do it. Wes, he's going to do it. Oh, my goodness, buddy. Do it. Do it. Do it. Touchdown. Oh, man, he's my favorite squirrel. Look at him. Oh, poor guy. He's tired. That's not a very good celebration. He doesn't work on his celebration. He got worn out. Oh, you people. Kidding me? Maybe that's how they practice trying to tackle Lamar Jackson around here. He'd probably be as tough to catch as that squirrel.
I feel so bad for the squirrel. That thing is terrified.
That squirrel was tired.
That squirrel was
like,
scared.
where is a tree?
Uh-huh.
That squirrel is used to climbing up and down a tree and jump a branch and branch. He ain't used to running 50 yards. That ain't
They ain't made for that.
They ain't made for that. But he made
And I swear, man, I mean, I know it's a squirrel, so I don't get overly wrapped up in certain levels of animalness, but I love animals. And that poor thing was in distress. He was scared. He or she was scared out of its mind.
But I got to give it to whichever college that was. I got to give it to him. Y'all don't even care who scores now.
Just touchdown, man.
The opposite team, your team, a squirrel, it don't even matter anymore. Y'all gonna chill. Touchdown. Y'all need a hobby. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Y'all literally just sat there and just cheered a squirrel. Let that sink in. 2022.
My family used to actually raise squirrels in New York. We had one each year that some reason squirrels would come into like the in between our floors, have their babies, and then jet. And this one time we had to actually raise a baby squirrel.
Yeah, I'm not raising no squirrel.
I'm not doing that.
They are adorable. Don't let them near your coffee.
They are adorable rodents.
Yep.
They're like the cutest rodent.
They're like your coffee.
They are so cool.
They will drink coffee. Well, that one did drink coffee and then would like run around the house crazy.
Yeah. It's a rodent.
It's coffee.
Because it's a rodent. But yeah, I feel you though. I love animals. I think
we
animals
used to be like switch the which hand the cup would, and the squirrel would like run all the way over and down. They liked coffee.
That's because they were addicted, Anna. You have
Anna,
fiend. The poor thing was strung out.
Anna, we really need to sit. We need to really sit down and try to figure out why is a squirrel in your house.
She explained it.
It was a warm place to give birth.
They go between the floors, just like a rat goes between the walls.
Mm-hmm.
They're just rats. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care what
They
nobody
are.
thinks about a squirrel. They're just a
They're
rat.
rodents.
They're a rat that live outside. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're looking for somewhere safe for the vulnerable young ones, they will go where that's why they go in attics.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all can go now. You don't have your baby. You can.
And then they leave droppings behind, and then your home becomes infested with fleas and roaches.
I don't care. They didn't pay rent. Did you just mute yourself?
Did I? I did not.
No.
Oh, I didn't hear a word that came out of your mouth.
That's because you're good at ignoring me.
I am, but I didn't ignore you this time.
Oh.
Oh.
It's okay.
Please tell everybody where they can find you.
ComplexSimpleMan.com. That's where I be at. Check me out.
And Anna?
Well, I actually just did the pick out a handle for YouTube, so you can find me the @ the A, and Borrelia etc. So just like the website, BorreliaEtc.com. So @Borrelia etc. for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Oh, Mari, you do not want to know some of that.
We'll have a good talk about it sometime, Mickey.
Yep. Nope. Nope. I don't want a squirrel. I sure still ain't gonna get a possum in my house. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, that is our show for tonight. We will see you tomorrow for Saturday Night Vibes, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And until next time, we will see you when we see you